History textbooks often provide us with a general view of human events that also highlight legendary figures and significant happenings. While these are cool, yet there are many intriguing and often ignored facts that seldom find their way in conventional teaching. Join us as we unveil 20 varieties of historical facts school doesn't teach. Number 20. Wars that started over food. Have you heard that countries once fought over food? That's right. One of such is the ridiculous pastry war of 1838 to 1839. So, let's tell you how it really started. After the federal elections held in Mexico in 1828, in which Manuel Gómez Pedraza became the president and Vicente Guerrero, the vice president, political crisis then struck the country. This was caused by Antonio López de Santa Anna, a prominent Mexican politician at the time. Antonio was dissatisfied with the federal election result. As a result, he rose in rebellion, which led to rebels entering the city. This civil disturbance led to the destruction of many properties, including a pastry shop built along Veracruz belonging to a certain French chef, Monsieur Remontel. After the war, he requested that the Mexican government compensate him for the damage caused by their soldiers to his shop in 1828. However, the Mexican government refused to compensate the Frenchmen and other French citizens. Then, in early 1838, France leveraged on the claim of its citizens in Mexico and sent a fleet to blockade the main port of Veracruz. In return, Mexico declared an all-out war on France, and things soon went out of control. French troops attacked and captured the city. It took the intervention of the British peacekeeping channel to end the pastry war. Mexico was made to pay the sum of 600,000 pesos demanded by France. After the payment, the French troops then withdrew in 1839. Who knows that pastry could go a long way to reshape history? Number 19. Little Ice Age's impact on European history. The Little Ice Age, a period of intense cooling that occurred from the early 14th to mid-19th centuries, had an impact on European history. During this period, temperatures dropped by as much as 2 degrees Celsius, or 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The extremity of the cold for people who lived through it was intensely dramatic. Its effects were wide-ranging and shaped various aspects of social, economic, and political life. One notable consequence of the Little Ice Age was its influence on agriculture. The temperatures led to crop failures and reduced agricultural productivity across Europe. This led to widespread food shortages, famines, and subsequent population decline. The scarcity of resources exacerbated social unrest and increased competition for limited supplies, contributing to political instability and conflicts within and between European states. About its impact on the sea, the frigid Thames River was frozen multiple times. In this situation, maritime activities were hindered, making it difficult for ships to navigate. And this had implications on European economies, which were heavily reliant on maritime trade. Number 18. George Washington's troublesome teeth. George Washington, the first president of America, suffered from bad teeth virtually throughout his life. Born in 1932, the young Washington enjoyed normal dental growth until his late 20s when he started developing oral problems. At that youthful age, he started losing at least 2 teeth yearly. This torment continued, and in 1789, when he became the first president of the United States, he was only left with 1 natural tooth. It was really hard for him, and these oral health problems affected his overall well-being. To address his dental issues, Washington turned to various solutions, including the use of artificial teeth. Contrary to popular belief, Washington never used wooden teeth. Instead, he employed dentures made from a combination of materials, such as human and animal teeth, gold, ivory, and even metal springs for stability. Sadly, this replacement for his natural teeth were definitely far from ideal. They were uncomfortable to wear, ill-fitting, and prone to regular fixing. The pain endured from these artificial teeth was obvious, and in one of his portraits painted by Charles Willson Peale, an American painter, in 1776, there is a lot to take from it. This portrait revealed a scar on Washington's left cheek, believed to be caused by the abscessed tooth. His dental issues also affected his personal and political image. He often preferred to remain silent in public gatherings, earning him a reputation for being aloof. Despite frequent adjustments and replacements of his artificial denture, his struggles with dental discomfort continued to plague him till his death. This Washington's anecdote reminds us that even great people wrestle with mundane yet essential aspects of human health. Number 17. The Great Emu War. What do you think about having these birds as a pet? They seem attractive, right? Well, these are the emus, and they were once the most favorite birds kept as pets in Australia, until the war. The Great Emu War of Western Australia was real. In fact, soldiers were deployed with machine guns to fight off these birds. So, what caused the armed combat? Western Australian farmers had faced hard times with their crops following the Great Depression of 1929. And their difficulties increased tenfold with the arrival of some 20,000 emus migrating inland during their breeding season. These birds destroyed some wheat farms, and farmers expressed their concern to the government. The authorities then summoned some of its ex-soldiers who fought in the First World War to battle off the birds. The battle on emus began in early November 1932. On the first military operation, soldiers encountered a lock of 50 emus, of which they succeeded in killing several before the birds retreated. Well, you can see a soldier holding a dead emu as a show of victory. For the second military operation, emus regrouped, and this time, about 1,000 of them attacked. This led to a landslide victory against the soldiers. In the end, a bounty on emus proved most effective. Between 1945 and 1960, around 284,700 emus were killed in Australia. Though Australia's emu population remains stable to this day, thankfully, they do not seem interested in resuming hostilities with the Australian government. Number 16. The Dancing Plague of 1518. The year 1518 was a remarkable year that would go down in the history of Strasbourg, a French city. That year, the city was tormented by the horrors of disease and famine. Similarly, it was struck by another tragedy popularly known as the Dancing Plague. With this plague, residents of the city suddenly had an uncontrollable urge to dance. This started when a woman known as Frau Trophea went down to the street and began to silently twist, twirl, and shake. She kept dancing, dancing, and dancing for 6 solid days. She couldn't stop dancing and at the same time couldn't explain why she danced. By the time she was exhausted and taken off the street, it was too late. The dancing disease had already spread. At first, about 34 Strasbourgeois had joined the dance, and by the end of July, a total of 400 residents were dancing. At the height of the dancing mania, these dancers couldn't explain why they danced just like Frau Trophea. They danced as if compelled, feet bloodied and limbs twitching. While dancing, 15 residents nearly died of sheer exhaustion. After days and the whole drama ended, many theories began to proffer different explanations. A modern theory believed the dance was caused by consumption of a fungi-infected rye, thereby causing mass hysteria or ergotism. Many others saw it as a divine punishment or a demonic possession. While these theories had tried to explain its cause, the true reason remains elusive. Number 15. The Untold Stories of Pirates' Life. We generally think pirates enjoy a great amount of luxury since they set sail almost every time in pursuit of treasures. However, their existence on the open waters is far from glamorous. Their daily struggles encompass a host of challenges, including scarcity of water and nutritious sustenance. Treasure hunters frequently endure extended periods without sufficient drinking water, leading to dehydration and related health issues. The scarcity of this essential resource forces them to rely on rainwater, captured during favorable weather conditions, or to resort to consuming unclean and brackish water from questionable sources. These circumstances contribute to a persistent state of discomfort and increased susceptibility to illnesses. Another significant concern for pirates is the inadequacy of nutritious food. The availability of fresh provisions was scarce, and they often relied on preserved and salted meats, hardtack, a type of dry biscuit, and other long-lasting rations. Hardtack had a propensity for harboring insects. For this reason, pirates called them the worm castles. The monotonous and nutrient-deficient diet posed a considerable risk to their well-being, leading to scurvy, a debilitating condition caused by vitamin C deficiency, which manifests in symptoms like fatigue, gum bleeding, and joint pain. They also suffered from malaria, smallpox, and many other random illnesses. Additionally, they also encountered accidents. Life on a ship can be dangerous, and men were known to fall overboard, in which case they were sometimes left in the sea to drown, as most pirates ironically couldn't swim, or worse yet, would be eaten by sharks. Other dangers include shipwrecks caused by treacherous weather and battles with rival ships. These circumstances foster an environment of constant vigilance and heightened tension, making pirates' day-to-day existence even more arduous and uncertain. The not-so-glamorous reality of a pirate's life at sea stands in stark contrast to the romanticized narratives popularized by literature and media. Number 14. The inception and suppression of the Gregorian calendar. The calendar that most of the world uses today, known as the Gregorian calendar, was introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582. The calendar was a modification of the Julian calendar, made to bring the days of the spring equinox closer to March 21st. By implementing a more precise system, it aimed to restore the synchronization between the calendar and the changing seasons, ensuring the accurate determination of religious holidays, such as Easter, which depended on the vernal equinox, moments in the year when the sun is exactly above the equator. Despite its good intentions, the new calendar was not readily accepted everywhere. Though Catholic-dominated countries accepted the new calendar early, it encountered resistance and faced challenges, especially from Protestant and Orthodox parts of the world who viewed it as a conspiracy theory from the Catholic world. Great Britain and its colonies, including the future United States, did not accept the Gregorian calendar until in 1752. In Russian, it was adopted after the Bolshevik Revolution of 1918. The non-uniform adoption of the calendar led to a situation where different countries observed different dates at the same time. Though met with fierce resistance, the Gregorian calendar's introduction marked a significant shift in timekeeping, providing a more precise and reliable means of tracking the passage of days and aligning with the natural progression of seasons. Its enduring global usage demonstrates its effectiveness in organizing social, cultural, and economic activities, establishing a standard measure of time that continues to be widely employed today. Number 13. Napoleon was attacked by bunnies. The legendary commander of the army of the First French Republic, Napoleon Bonaparte, had won many wars, and during his time, he was one of the most feared generals. But the popular saying, "all work and no play makes anyone dull," prompted Napoleon to go for some play in 1807. This was after Napoleon had signed a peace treaty with the country of Russia. Just as you must have guessed, it was a momentous occasion that called for celebration. So, Napoleon ordered his chief of staff, Baron Louis Alexandre Berthier, to arrange a fashionable outdoor luncheon and rabbit hunt. Napoleon rounded up his men to go after about 1,000 rabbits for this manly pursuit. This image showed how Napoleon and his men were poised and armed for the hunt. It was presumed that once the caged rabbits were released, those animals would panic and run towards an open field. So when they were finally released, contrary to Napoleon's best-laid plans, the confused creatures charged straight towards him and his men. Hundreds and hundreds of frenzied, fluffy bunny rabbits bombarded him and his mighty men. Bunnies swarmed under his legs and climbed up onto his gold-embroidered jacket. They nibbled at his gold buttons and gnawed at his boots. As they were too close to be shot, Napoleon men used whips and sticks to drive them off. They succeeded in this maneuver enough to allow a humiliated Napoleon to retreat to his carriage. Just as they were retreating, the army of rabbits attacked again from the rear, dividing into two groups on either side of Napoleon. Of course, he was able to get away after some intense pursuit from bunnies. So why did they attack? Now here's the thing. His chief of staff, Baron Berthier, being lazy, knew little about rabbits. Instead of collecting bunnies from rabbit warrens, he had ignorantly gone for hungry, tame bunnies from farmers. As these rabbits had not been fed for a day, Napoleon appeared to them as a meal, so it's normal that they charged at him. Number 12. The government once poisoned alcohol during Prohibition. In 1926, the American government started what they referred to as a noble experiment, which means adding some poisonous chemicals to alcohol to reduce the rate of its consumption among the growing populace. So, the government increased the amount of methanol in alcohol. They added benzene. Additionally, they added mercury just to deter people from consumption of alcohol. To be honest, do you also think this was the best option? Well, the question doesn't make a difference anymore. So did the strategy work? Instead of repressing, the rate of alcohol consumption only increased. People became thirsty for any booze they could get, including drinking the super-poisoned alcohol, and the results were quite heartbreaking. In 1927, 41 people died at New York's Bellevue Hospital from alcohol-related poisonings. By the time the Prohibition law was repealed in 1933, the federal poisoning program had killed about 10,000 more people. Number 11. There were more than 600 plots to kill Fidel Castro. Former Cuban leader Fidel Castro can be regarded as a legendary survivor who is believed to have survived over 600 attempts on his life. Although this figure is contestable, there were several attempts on his life. These attacks were in the form of covert operations orchestrated by intelligence agencies to direct confrontations and elaborate schemes involving food poisonings, dosing his dive suit with a fungus that could cause chronic skin disease. Also, sniper attacks and blowing his podium up during a speech made up the lists. Aside from these attempts, the most famous plan to kill him was in 1960, just a year after Castro seized power. What happened was, the Central Intelligence Agency, a United States national security, spiked his favorite cigars with a botulinum toxin strong enough to kill anybody who put one in their mouth. However, Fidel Castro managed to avert this situation. As a charismatic leader who openly challenged capitalist systems and championed socialist principles, he often found himself on the black list of different countries and different agencies. Nevertheless, Fidel Castro lived till the age of 90 years and died a natural death. This stands as a testament to his resilience and the measures taken to protect him. Whether through rigorous security protocols, loyal networks of supporters, or sheer luck, Castro managed to evade death despite the relentless pursuit of his enemies.
Hasta la victoria siempre.
Number 10. Pope Gregory IX declared war on cats. People react differently to animals, especially felines, but some people just take things a little too far. For instance, Pope Gregory IX, who declared war on cats. The Pope declared war on the cat population, and there is a reason behind this. Conrad of Marburg was the papal inquisitor and confessor who answered directly to the Pope. Conrad was believed to have tortured people to give false confessions about cats during his reign as a confessor. These types of confessions, taken under torture, were given to the Pope as evidence showing that cats were in league with the devil. So, between 1227 and the year 1241, the Catholic world declared war against cats, especially the black ones. They believed these felines carried Satan's spirit around and therefore were not to be trusted. In fact, during the year 1233 to 1234, there was mass extermination of cats by those loyal to the Church and the Pope. Number 9. The hidden heritage of Mount Rushmore. Nestled within the Black Hills of South Dakota, Mount Rushmore stands as an iconic American landmark, attracting millions of visitors each year. Many are familiar with its towering granite faces of 4 prominent United States presidents' image: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Moreover, what remains largely unknown is the original vision of Mount Rushmore's sculptor, Gutzon Borglum. Why did he go through with these carvings despite decades of construction? Gutzon envisioned a broader depiction of American history, incorporating not only the faces of these 4 presidents, but also an expansive tableau showcasing significant events and individuals from the nation's past. Another hidden aspect of this mount lies in the symbolism each carved figure holds. The selection of these particular presidents represents key chapters in American history. George Washington signifies the nation's birth and struggle for independence, while Thomas Jefferson symbolizes the expansion of the United States through the Louisiana Purchase. Abraham Lincoln embodies the preservation of the Union and the abolition of slavery. And Theodore Roosevelt represents the country's growth and development on the world stage. Amazing, right? But there is even greater hidden heritage within Mount Rushmore that transcends the surface and encompasses more than meets the eye. Beyond the grandeur of the sculpture, Mount Rushmore holds a deep cultural significance to Native American tribes. The Black Hills, where the mountain is located, are considered sacred land to several indigenous communities. The Lakota Sioux, in particular, hold a deep spiritual connection to this region, considering it a part of their ancestral territory. The carving of Mount Rushmore on this sacred land represents a painful reminder of the historical injustices and broken treaties that displaced indigenous people from their ancestral lands. Number 8. The misunderstood role of Vikings. Across history, Vikings are often depicted as horned helmet-wearing brutal raiders and pillagers from the north. While it is true that Vikings did engage in warfare, their contributions and activities extended far beyond this limited perception. Vikings are legendary traders, explorers, and settlers. As a result, between 800 to 1050 AD, known as the Vikings era, this period saw significant advancement. During this period, Viking established trade routes, settlements, and forged diplomatic relationships across Europe and beyond. They were believed to have reached as far as North America even before the great Italian navigator Christopher Columbus set his foot on that continent. The image that Vikings wear a horned helmet originated in artistic misinterpretation which started in the 19th century. However, archaeological excavations have shown that Vikings wore simple helmets for protection in battle. Number 7. the Library of Alexandria and the Loss of Knowledge. The Library of Alexandria, an unparalleled repository of ancient knowledge, was situated in the city of Alexandria, Egypt. Built during the reign of Ptolemy II in the 3rd century BCE, it became a center of learning and scholarship in the ancient world. The library housed about 700,000 books. These include scrolls and manuscripts, covering a wide range of subjects including literature, philosophy, science, history, and more. Its holdings were a testament to the intellectual achievements of the ancient world. The library cultivated some of the best minds of the age whose discoveries and inventions changed the course of the world. Behind the walls of this library, Euclid, an ancient Greek mathematician, created geometry. Many medical discoveries, including the idea that human thought originated in the brain rather than the heart, all came from this library. Despite its reputation, the library's destruction was a setback to more discoveries. Many theories have tried to explain the reason for this destruction, and one that came close was that Julius Caesar's invasion of Alexandria in 48 BCE caused a huge fire that swept the library. Number 6. The original purpose of the Great War of China. Stretching over 21,196 kilometers through 16 different regions of China, the Great Wall of China is no doubt an architectural marvel. One prevailing belief is that the Great Wall primarily served as a defensive fortification, erected to protect the Chinese Empire from incursions by nomadic tribes, particularly the Mongols. But beyond defense against invasions, there is an unknown dimension to its original intent, shrouded in historical speculation. Scholars and historians have put forth alternative theories regarding its construction. Some propose that the wall served as a symbol of unity and political assertion, representing the power and authority of the ruling dynasties. The Great Wall goes beyond a show or power. This wall played a crucial role in regulating trade and border control. It served as a barrier to control the movement of goods and people, facilitating the imposition of tariffs and maintaining authority over commercial activities. By exerting control over trade routes, the wall offered economic advantages, bolstering the empire's wealth and influence. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In this perplexing image, individuals can be seen confined within a suspended cage, evoking a sense of captivity and vulnerability. The meaning behind this thought-provoking visual remains open to interpretation, and we are ready to hear your interpretation. Kindly drop your comments below. Number 5. The history of ancient Roman plumbing. One of the greatest engineering accomplishments of the ancient Romans was their intricate system of aqueducts and plumbing. While the Romans did not invent plumbing, they perfected and expanded upon existing systems, leaving a lasting impact on the field of hydraulic engineering. The Romans constructed a vast network of aqueducts, which were engineered to transport fresh water from distant sources to cities and settlements. These impressive structures relied on gravity to move water over long distances, utilizing arches and tunnels to maintain a steady flow. The aqueducts provided a reliable water supply for public baths, fountains, private residences, and agricultural irrigation, greatly improving the quality of life for Roman citizens. In addition to their advanced water supply infrastructure, the Romans also developed an extensive sewage system. The most notable component of this system was the Cloaca Maxima, a large sewer system in Rome. The Cloaca Maxima, meaning greatest sewer, was constructed in the 6th century BC. This sewer is a sophisticated drainage system designed to carry wastewater, rainwater, and other waste materials away from the city in the ancient Roman era. By carrying water to different parts of the country, it helped to prevent stagnant water. Though the sewer is not as strong as it used to, part of it remains in use today. The ancient Roman plumbing system is a shocking revelation of how complex and advanced the plumbing system of the ancient Roman was, and how it helped sharpen the engineering advancements of the current century. Number 4. The accidental invention of the microwave. There's a microwave in virtually more than 90% of American homes, and they're heating everything from popcorn to pork rinds in a hurry. But would you believe it if you're told the microwave was made accidentally? The true story is that it was invented utterly by accident more than 70 years ago, when an American Raytheon engineer and inventor named Percy Spencer was working on a radar-related experiment. While working on the experiment, he stood in front of an active magnetron, a vacuum tube that generates microwaves. He observed that a candy bar in his pocket had melted. Intrigued by this unexpected phenomenon, Spencer conducted further experiments to explore the possibilities. After confirmation that he had made an accidental invention in 1947, Percy Spencer and his team developed the first commercially viable microwave oven, known as the Radarange. This invention utilized the heating properties of microwaves to cook food quickly and efficiently. The device worked by emitting microwave radiation, which agitated the water molecules within food, causing them to generate heat and cook the food from within. The Radarange weighed about 750 pounds and was quite expensive for most people to afford. But today, with technological advancement, microwave ovens are a lot cheaper and more portable. The discovery's efficiency, speed, and convenience it brings to homes today made it a valuable appliance in kitchens and an essential part of culinary practices. Number 3. Cleopatra's true root. Cleopatra VII, born in early 69 BC, was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. She was renowned for her captivating beauty and charm. Accounts from the time describe her as a woman of exceptional allure and intelligence, capable of captivating the hearts of powerful men, including Julius Caesar. Contrary to popular misconceptions, Cleopatra's true roots lie in her Macedonian Greek descent. As a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which was founded by Ptolemy I, a general of Alexander the Great, Cleopatra's lineage can be traced back to Macedon in ancient Greece. In terms of familial relations, Cleopatra was part of a complex web of intermarriages within the Ptolemaic dynasty. She was the daughter of Ptolemy XII Auletes and the sister wife of previous rulers such as Ptolemy XIII and Ptolemy XIV. The intricate dynamics of these family connections influenced her position and authority within the kingdom. Though many still prefer talking about her descent, what's more important about Cleopatra is that she became one of the most powerful rulers of her era. She was a skilled linguist, a naval commander, an expert administrator, a religious leader who was seen by some as a messianic figure, and a worthy opponent of the Romans. She was worshipped in Egypt for over 400 years after her death. Number 2. The misinterpretation of the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty, a symbol of freedom and democracy, has been subject to various misunderstandings and misconceptions. Most people think the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France, but it wasn't. This statue was a gift from the French people to celebrate American independence. The Statue of Liberty made its way to American soil in June 17, 1885. The French people, in honor of the alliance between the two countries during the American Revolution, presented the statue to recognize America as a champion of liberty and encourage the French to support the same ideals. Also, the statue's appearance has led to misconceptions. Many assume that the statue portrays a specific person, such as the Roman goddess Libertas or the ancient Egyptian queen Nefertiti. In the real sense of it, the statue's design was inspired by the Roman goddess Libertas, rather than depicting a specific individual. Knowing the true meaning and symbolism behind the Statue of Liberty allows for a deeper appreciation of its significance as a beacon of freedom and hope. It serves as a reminder of the enduring values that underpin democratic societies and the aspirations for liberty that unite people across the world. Number 1. The unexpected origins of the English language. The origins of the English language are unexpected and fascinating, shaped by a series of historical events and linguistic influences. The language began its journey with the arrival of Germanic tribes, including the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, to the British Isles in the 5th and 6th centuries. Their languages gradually merged, forming what is known as Old English. But the story of English doesn't end there. In the 11th century, the Norman conquest brought French-speaking Normans to England, introducing French as the language of the ruling class. This led to a period of linguistic intermingling, giving rise to Middle English, a blend of Old English and Norman French. As time passed, English continued to evolve, absorbing vocabulary and influences from other languages through trade, exploration, and cultural exchange. Latin, Greek, Scandinavian, and later, the languages of the British Empire all contributed to the ever-expanding lexicon of English. The fusion of these various dialects and linguistic influences resulted in the diverse and rich tapestry of the English language as we know it today. It is a testament to the dynamic nature of language and the power of cultural interactions, reflecting the history, global reach, and diverse influences that have shaped the English language into a global means of communication. We hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.